There we go again. Got another badge of honor running across his shoulder, man. But why's it gotta be like this value less than? Non-living property. Things that don't walk. Things with no soul. Things without heart. Object by every sense of the word. Got more work than a life that's absurd. But how else could they own a human being? Unless they were to reduce us to a thing.
Yes.
Sell it, trade it, made it complicated, debated, the price of which it was stated, said a place was traded, that justice be waited, but the code is shit that I ever did see was to make us think that they ended slavery. But have you ever actually read Amendment 13? Where they made an exception. I hope you're peeping a lesson. The crime clause, a justification to move and arrest them, to conceal and punishment, enslavement, investment, profit, releasing convicts, the mines and plantations, the spine of this nation, black belt, southern tribulations. Fat cats with fat pockets, getting richer than George Wallace on Jim Crow and politics. And while Booker T was like, just take it, we'll make it, Du Bois was like, fuck them haters and face hiding KKKs. Get educated and take the ballot box before they encase it. Because Section 2 of the 14th Amendment stated and gave basis for felony disenfranchisement, which was a slap to the faces of the newly liberated, because showed a system that couldn't change it, because they couldn't vote to replace it. Black codes were the new modes of enslavement. Vagrants to chain gangs working the pavement, repaying the debt to society that was never lent. Shade in the first place. Tulsa, Oklahoma, the first case. A black metropolis that rivaled New York's monopolists, with black teachers, lawyers, and doctors. Separated from white culture was obvious. Their integration anomalous like a battle of Salamis, not analogous to the freedom riders of 1961. Pete Gang, son of the sun, Anubis, Akhenaton, Timbuktu, Cairo, Addis Ababa, Abyssinian, Zulu. Who knew that the negative language in the 15th Amendment could and would be used for legal lynching and social estrangement? Like, fuck the arraignment went from, there's a tree, let's hang him, Billie Holiday's strange fruit, to state-sanctioned ghetto assassinations. For those who escaped the new Jim Crow and prison slave levy. Yo, for real though, these crooked-ass cops out here ain't nothing but modern-day slave catchers. Article 4, Section 2, United States Constitution, and I quote, no person held to service of labor in one state under the laws thereof, escaping into another, shall the consequence of any law or regulation therein be discharged from such service of labor, but shall be delivered upon claim of the party of whom such service of labor may be due, end quote, is still in force and on paper. And you cannot begin to debate it that the 3/5 clause has been erased when prisoners who cannot vote are still being counted as voters in the states they were encaged in, regardless of whether or not that was the state from which they originated, all so that Congress can have more seats in office. Now what I'm saying is that in this nation, in this rules, in these ideological traces, that we are not valued on the basis of our being human beings, but rather on the sweat that our labor displaces. And that is why these pigs, they get away with emptying cases and are hides on a damn near daily basis. Because yo, the system that we live in is racist.
Welcome to
America.
Woo! Hey, give it up on my man. This one time. That's what's up. Hell yeah.
I am Black Lives Matter. They are Black Lives Matter. And I wish there were more folks in here, but there's shows that are going on. But there's enough of you out here who are interested to hang around, so I'm going to share my message with you anyway.
Let them know.
I grew up with hip-hop, and hip-hop's message to me was each one, teach one. So hopefully if you hear what I say, you tell somebody else. And I know it's going out live, so it's going there. We don't live in a democracy. Or maybe we do live in a democracy, but it's not democracy like the way that everybody is taught to believe that it's democracy. You see, because when we say democracy, everybody thinks that everybody has a choice, that everybody's voice counts equally. But Cleisthenes, the dude from ancient Greece who started democracy, it was only the rich, male, white, land-owning elites who could cast either a white or a black rock, which represented yay or nay. And even back then, white and black was set as good and bad. But those were the only folks back then who could cast a vote. And then when the founders of this nation on stolen land, and we're on Total Atham land, got to recognize that, it was only for rich, white, male, land-owning elites who could vote. And it was those slave owners who wrote this Constitution not to benefit us. Just like that piece that I just threw out, 3/5 a human being. It was never intended for us. And we don't have a democracy the way that we think. And they throw down anarchism. But what anarchism is really like is everybody making a choice in consensus-based decision-making model. That is way more towards the sense of democracy that we have now than what we got. The next part of this discussion says, the system is not broken. It is functioning precisely the way that it was designed to. And this system wasn't designed for us. It was designed by slave owners to maintain the control of labor, and this country has always depended on free labor. The prison industrial complex that exists now, that was built based on the 13th Amendment, where they promised us that enslavement was over. It didn't end. The 13th Amendment actually wrote enslavement into the Constitution for the first time. All they had to do was convict a person of a crime. Just like that piece that I read was talking about. Oh, there's more people over here listening. Dope. I'll make sure I give you all some attention too. The prison industrial complex stems from convict leasing. And convict leasing was a contract that came out after 1865 to sell the labor back based on the black codes of people who were arrested for standing on the street, bankruptcy laws and whatnot, back to the same plantations and mines in which they worked while our ancestors were enslaved. That convict leasing system is what corporations like Core Civic, GEO Group, G47, the private industrial prison complex. Prisoners in this state cannot be paid according to Arizona revised statutes more than $1.71, not more, if that. That is slave labor. And there are laws that require all state agencies to purchase from that type of labor, which gives them a relative monopoly. This system wasn't designed for us. Enslavement never ended. It just changed the way that it looks.
Put them on game, bro. Put them on game. You got more?
I got a lot more.
Can I give you, what, like a couple more minutes?
They said I had 15.
Keep on going. I got you. Let them know what time it is, bro. You telling the truth.
Yo, we get there.
Run it.
I don't have 10 minutes worth of material.
Hey, brother, finish your speech, because that's just on point.
During all of this time, Jim Crow segregation was functioning, and it denied our people to vote. An interesting thing that gets said in our society is that all women got the right to vote in 1920 when that passed, but that was only white women. Black people didn't get the right to vote until 1965, and our people fought, black and brown, died on the streets to get that right. But something that I've come to learn after all my studies and trials and tribulations is that rights are not granted. They're fought for and won. And the moment we stop fighting for them, then they start taking them away from us. And within 10 years, Nixon started writing into law disenfranchisement. And he used marijuana and heroin that they flooded into our neighborhoods to disenfranchise our people.
Because it was put there.
Yes. Well, not the marijuana. The marijuana is from the earth, but the heroin they put there.
You know what I mean.
Right?
Let them know.
FBI to crack the Black Panther Party. I'm giving out a little bit of a history right now so that we can talk about the importance of what it is that we're doing. Y'all okay with me going forward?
Keep on going.
Say that.
Because the Black Panthers turned into the Panthers in a red uniform.
Say that again.
Panthers in a red uniform, the Pyru movement.
Okay.
They turned.
I don't.
Yes, and hey.
Can I do this for just now? I'll be done soon. Thank you. We have a plurality of knowledge, and we all add into the truth.
This is fantastic. I'm enjoying this. Are you enjoying this? I can see this, yeah.
Today we have over 12 million people in our society who cannot vote because they have used those crime clauses to disenfranchise our people so that we cannot make decisions about our schools and our roads, how our children are fed, and how our tax dollars are spent. Again, the system wasn't designed for us. And our rights are not granted, but they're fought for and won. And we're here talking about the political aspect of voting. Now, I don't believe, and Black Lives Matter doesn't believe, that voting is the only thing that is going to achieve our objectives, but it is definitely an important thing. Because if we don't vote, if we don't make our voice heard, then they don't get an opportunity to hear that. right? And while our people are in our communities and they're disenfranchised and we're believing that voting doesn't have an impact, then we're at a disadvantage because those other groups are voting in swarms. I just helped Teresa Mabry with a whole bunch of other folks run for Justice of the Peace in South Phoenix, and there were only 7,000, 8,000 people who voted. That's like a 50,000 person area, maybe more. That's not a huge portion of the population. And most of the electoral cycles that I have watched and taken a look at what the results are being decided by less than 1,000 votes. These are people that we're trying to put into office who share our same values that we have. But I think what is most important that I wanted to share about today is that if we don't live up and honor the sacrifices of our predecessors to get those full rights to citizenship, then we are doing them a disservice. But I hear something that comes out very, very often, is that everything is promised on one cycle, on one vote, on one struggle, on one campaign, on one vote, as if that thing is going to solve all of our problems. And I think that we do our people a disservice when we give them that, because even if we get a person elected into office in this racist red hellhole of a state, that those people get siloed when they're in office because there are so many people against them that they cannot act even on the best promises and intentions. And what we have is taking a look, if we really, really want to change this system, is a protracted struggle so that over time we can put all of our people into these different positions of power, from school boards to city councils to justices to attorney generals to prosecuting attorneys, which is one of the most powerful positions in our country. They make all the decisions about who gets bail, how much time, who gets charged, when they get out, if they get out. And it's the prison industrial complex that still has our people enslaved to those positions. And when we walk into city council, when we walk into these other places, when we go into school boards, then when we're talking to them about our problems, they're coming from the same place that we are. But that's not going to happen in one cycle. But right now, the way that things stand, when we walk into Phoenix City Council, they laugh at us, they mock us, they ridicule us, they throw epithets at us. And I've been there multiple times watching this happen. It's not going to happen once, but each and every battle, death by 1,000 cuts is still a death. It is still a victory. And that's what I wanted to share with you most today. I believe in this. I believe in what's going on. Thank you to Lucha. Thank you to Ace. Thank you to the Hip Hop Collective for putting this on. I believe in the power of music. I believe in the power of poetry. I believe in the power of messages. And in order to get our people engaged, we have to keep doing these types of things where we're in the community and engaging with one another. One of the things that's happened in this society is like technology has made us so short and so fast that we've forgotten how to engage with one another. And events like this puts us in close proximity where we can shake hands, where we can smell one another when we get all sweaty in this hot ass desert and while we're dancing on hip hop floors. Because that's the kind of thing that breeds real connection between other human beings. And when I started talking, I was talking about BLM and Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter is all about asserting the humanity of each and every single one of us, right? And I've heard some folks in here talking today about I'm a bad person. And it's that bad person, that unchangeable state that this prison industrial complex and that this state is functioning on, because it says you are never going to change. So you're always going to be a criminal. You're always going to be a nigga. You're always going to be something. But just because we do a bad thing doesn't mean we're a bad person. It means we've done a bad thing. We all have the opportunity to change from that. And if we can look into each other's eyes and see the humanity between each one of us, then we have a firm ground upon which to start. So I'm loving this. Thank you for my time.